R&B diva, Shirley Murdoch. She's up next. Let's talk. What's up, everybody? How you doing out there? I want to say thank you for tuning in to another video over here. I am your host and your R&B historian, Peppy. That's right. Let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into my book club, Divas with Books. That's right. We're jumping back into it, talking about my Divas with Books. And we have here, as you already know, Faith Evans, Keep the Faith, Gladys Knight, Between Each Line of Pain and Glory, David Nathan, The Soulful Divas, and Joyce Venerella Irby. She has a book out called I Still Say Yes. And as you already know, these books I have read or I'm currently reading. They're right here behind me. This is not a paid promotion. I am not affiliated with any of these divas at all. It's just what I like to do. And yes, I'm promoting them simply because I love their music and I love, learning more about my R&B divas. So I have these books behind me. Stay tuned because I'm actually in the process of doing something with the Divas with Books as well. I am in the process of thinking about, going live and talking to some of you guys live. I'm in the process of doing that, and I'm trying to do that with the book club, give you guys some opportunities to share with me some of the things that you like about these R&B divas. All right. Now, from the previous video with the Dawn Robinson video of In Vogue, as you can tell, I am changing up the format over here and giving you guys a little bit more of the things that I like. And also, I'm trying to expand the show as well as the length of the show. And I'm here to tell you I'm in the process of being, I guess you can call painfully authentic. It's me. It's really and truly all about me as far as this show is concerned. And so I'm just throwing in things that I like that maybe you guys will find interesting as well. And having said all of that, let's jump right into it. The next section that we're going to talk about is the Ooh and I Like It. That's right. This section of the show, I will talk to you about some of the things that I like. Again, this is not a paid promotion. I am a history and English major, and what I decided to do is I wanted to bring in my book collection as well as my music collection or the music that I like. And I am bringing in some of the books that I have that maybe you guys like as well. You know what? Maybe you need to go out and find something to read. And I'm here to tell you, I really and truly enjoyed these books. And so the book that I want to discuss with you guys today is Cold Mountain. Okay. Cold Mountain by Charles Frazier. Now, yes, there was a movie that came out called Cold Mountain. And if some of you guys watched it, I understand, but I'm here to tell you guys, the movies are never as good as the books, as you already know. And this was a good book, or is, I should say, a good book. And when I read the book first. The movie hadn't been out at all. And then when the movie was coming out, I was like, oh my gosh, I read Cold Mountain. I was like, I can't wait to see the movie. And of course, if you already imagine, what did I do? I'm not going to say I critiqued the movie, from the book, but I will say that as I was watching the movie, I'm like, oh, well, no, not quite. But anyway, great movie, better book. All right. Now, speaking of Cold Mountain, let's go ahead on and talk a little bit about the book for a split second. I'm trying to make sure I keep this in view. Oh gosh, this got so much going on. I think I better put it over here on this side, right? I think it's better for me. So Cold Mountain is a 1997 historical novel by Charles Fraser, which won the U.S. National Book Award for fiction. It tells the story of W.P. Inman, a wounded deserter from the Confederate Army near the end of the American Civil War, who walks for months to return to Ada Monroe, the love of his life. The story shares several similarities with Homer's Odyssey. The narrative alternates back and forth every chapter between the stories of Inman and Ada, a minister's daughter, recently relocated from Charleston to a farm in a rural mountain community near Cold Mountain, North Carolina, from which Inman hails. Though they only knew each other for a brief time before Inman departed for the war, it is largely the hope of seeing Ada again that drives Inman to desert the army and make the dangerous journey back to Cold Mountain. Details of their brief history together are told at intervals in flashbacks over the course of the novel. That's right. So again, Cold Mountain is a wonderful book, okay? I enjoyed it. And shout out to my history professor at the time, Dr. Payne. She actually, this is one of the books I read in one of my history class, women's history class, was this book. And it was just a great book at the time that I was reading it. And of course, you know, I spending all that money on those books as a history and English major, I kept them, baby. You better believe after, you know, my first semester in college and, you know, you go in and you turn in these books, thinking you're going to get your money back on these books, baby. And they don't, you know, you pay $100 and they give you $15 or $20 back on the book. I said, I don't think so. If I'm a history and English major, I might as well go ahead on and keep these books. And so that's what I did for some of them. But then I have other books that I've actually gone out and purchased, you know, and I'll talk to you guys about some of those books as well. Now, speaking of that, let's jump right into the next section of the show. And that's right, it's called Back Down Memory Lane. Yes, so we're going back down memory lane. And what I want to do at this moment in time is I want to talk to you guys about, yes, it's not showing. Come on, show, baby. Show me. Show me, show me, show me. What's going on? I don't understand why it's not showing. It should show. There it is. I'm like almost waiting. Come on, show up now. Work with me, people. Work with me. All right. So since we're talking about R&B diva Shirley Murdock, well, the trip back down memory lane that I want to go back down will talk to you guys about what the talk box. The talk box. If you love R&B music like I do, if you love the music of Shirley Murdock, then you definitely love the music of Zapp. And of course, as you know, Zapp and Roger, Zapp made, what is it, Roger? I'm going to say Zapp. Made, Roger Troutman, how about that? Made the talk box very popular within the African-American community, you know, or African-American music lovers. And so what I want to do today is talk to you guys briefly about the talk box. The talk box is quite literally a box that has a speaker inside and is attached to a plastic tube. Once you connect the speaker to the speaker output on your desired instrument amplifier, you then place the plastic tube into your mouth. Sound will travel through the plastic tube, and the player shapes their mouth to make the desired shape of the sound. An example of this is if you want the talk box to make the letter O in sound, you will shape your mouth as if you were to say the letter O. You aren't limited to just making vowel sounds, though. You can produce full words and sentences. All you have to do is shape your mouth around the tube to get the desired sound. You can literally say the words if you want to, but just mouthing them will work too. Because the sound of the plastic tube is quite low, it is recommended that you place a microphone in front of you so that the sound can be amplified a bit. Now, I know what you guys are probably saying to yourselves. Wait a minute. The talk box, auto tunes, all of those different instruments used to make sound, are they pretty much the same? And no, they're not. Okay. Now that I think about it, could Zapp and Roger really sing? Could Roger Troutman sing? I don't know if I might have to go back down and listen to that. By the way, Shirley, baby, maybe you could tell us, could Roger Troutman sing? Could he hold a note? Did he know? Well, no, he did know that. I was about to say, did he know intonation, phonation, accuracy, and pitch? He had to know that if he was a music producer, right? Things that make you go, Do the new producers of this day and time, when we're talking about auto tunes and all of that stuff, do they know intonation, phonation, accuracy, and pitch? Interesting. But anywho, I think I was very shocked to find out that, what is that man's name? What is that producer name? Oh, I can't think of his name. I'm gonna go back. Oh God, what is that name of that producer? Something about a drink. Anyway, I was thinking about the producer, and you guys know who I'm talking about. But here lately, I haven't been as sharp. I think because I've taken so long away from you guys. Like, it's been almost a month that I recorded videos, and I'm trying to think of that guy's name, the producer. Oh, and I just can't think of it right now. But anyway, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that he could sing. T-Pain. Oh, Lord have mercy, Jesus. My goodness, Lord. Oh, I might not stay away from y'all so long if I'm going to start not remembering stuff. T-Pain. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that T-Pain could actually sing. So that's why I'm asking about Zapp and Rogers, because Zapp and Rogers really sing. But anyway, enough of all of that, right? Let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into, our R&B diva, right? Because we're talking about Shirley Murdock, right? Shirley, somebody get that Shirley Murdock on the phone, because we're talking about Shirley Murdock today. Okay. Ooh, let me take off the sunglasses because I do not want to really and truly mess this one up at all. Okay. Now, do I have a Shirley Murdock story for you? I have a Shirley Murdock story for you. So now let me explain to you guys pretty much what it is that I do over here if you're new to my show. What I do is I talk about R&B music, preferably R&B divas. That's what I do. All right? That's who I love. You take the bigger picture, the bigger thing, and then you kind of narrow it down into a niche. And that's what I've done, right? We could talk about music all day long, but for me, I love my R&B divas. So I want to talk about my R&B divas right now, okay? See, I got a story for y'all when it comes to this Shirley Murdock. And I think everybody's going to be able to relate to it. Some of you guys. Anyway, listen, when I was growing up and that song As We Lay came on, every child in the neighborhood, well, I wouldn't say every child in the neighborhood. It wasn't every child in the neighborhood. Well, all the children around me. Right? Well, in my little circle, in my neighborhood, all right, we would have what we call these talent shows. Now, sometimes these talent shows we would actually lip sync the song. That's what we would do. Somebody have a broom and they'll be playing the guitar, like when we would do Prince and Kiss, we'll have a guitar, somebody up there and they be hitting the guitar, with the broom and so on and so forth. And, your parents outside on the porch and they laughing at you, y'all singing and this, that, and the other, and then there was times when your parents, they would get together, my parents, I would say not your, I would say about mine. My parents, They would have their get-togethers, and you know, and of course they have the music playing and all of that stuff, and maybe, you know, yeah, they'll be outside, you know, because they're cooking. So it's late. It didn't matter. It was way into the wee hours of the night, and they're still outside cooking and sitting around, you know, drinking and all of the stuff that you know, it's just what it is. And so we'll be in the house, right? And Shirley Murdoch back then, one of the songs that would be played would be Shirley Murdoch. And what we would do, I still trying to figure out. Sometimes we have the lights off, and sometimes we have the lights on. But it didn't matter. Shirley Murdoch song, As We Lay, would be playing. And guess what we would be doing? Singing to the top of our lungs. But it sound like a bunch of cats. But it, baby, it didn't matter. Nobody was lead, nobody was background. There was no tune in sight. But we would sing our hearts out, you know, to the song As We Lay. And trust me, I was one of them right there in the middle of them, singing my heart out as we lay. Okay, it's just what it was. And then as soon as the song As We Lay would go, you know, go off, then all of us will go walk back outside, and you know, we just play outside. It's just what it was, you know. So anyway, that's my little bit of my Shirley Murdoch for you. You know, the song As We Lay, it just brings me back, you know, brings me back to, you know, my memory, you know, take me back down memory lane. I don't know why. I'm not going to stay away so long. Baby, I've been busy though. I just feel like I'm not as sharp as I once was. I mean, I can pick this stuff out the air. The devil is a lie. No weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against me in judgment shall be condemned. I have the mind of Christ. I don't know what's going on over here. Got to use my gift. Oh no, baby, I ain't losing nothing over here. Shirley, you know what I'm talking about. You and the Lord now. Oh, speaking of that, see, but I must be on it. Because see, there's a connect already. Shirley, I'm connected with you already. Why? Because I'm going into my, you know, review of the album, about to go into review of the album. And it just hit me talking about the Lord. You know, she's a lady who has always been in the church, and she had her music intertwined with, you know, having some integrity, you know, being a woman with, you know, integrity, morals. You understand what I'm saying? And I think about, you know, that T.D. Jakes in her unsung, when T.D. Jakes was like, hey, you guys, I think he told the church, you know, the members of a church, or she was performing somewhere, and she was basically like, you guys, y'all have to support her, because in the world, she's looked at as the lady, you know, that loves the Lord. And you guys in the church, y'all looking at her as a lady who sings R&B. You have to support her. And I think that really and truly is a good part in this, you know, commentary, to really and truly just talk about Shirley Murdoch. See, we on the Lord. I just want to make sure. I'm like, God, man, we got to stay together. You know, if I abide in you and you abide in me, I can ask what I will, and it shall be done unto me. Now, don't mess this up now. Hey, laughter is medicine for the soul. You need to get you some. You need to get you some laughter. That's some good medicine for you. I'm just telling you now. Just telling you what I know. I mean, I know by experience. All right. So let's go ahead on and talk about Shirley. And we're going to talk about her albums, right? And what I think about Shirley Murdoch. You might want to hold on to this one. I'll really get Shirley on the phone. So Shirley Murdoch started singing gospel music in her native Toledo, Ohio, right? Singer and musician Roger Troutman hired Murdoch as a background singer for his family's band Zap, which had several hits on Warner Brothers Records at the time. Troutman began recording tracks with Murdoch and lead singer Sugarfoot of the Ohio Players, among others. All right, Murdoch and Troutman's first chart single was for the Warner Brothers issue single, Girl Cut It Out, which charted at around in the 1970s, excuse me, not the 1970s, but in the landed in the 70s on the R&B charts. Then after that, Murdoch signed with Electric Records, and her first release, No More, was written by herself and Gregory Jackson. All right, which made it to number 24 on the R&B charts. Then her signature single, As We Lay, written by Zapp's Larry Troutman and keyboardist Billy Beck of the Ohio Players. Then after that, of course, the single hit the top 10 on the R&B charts, number 23 on the pop charts, and number 21 on the contemporary charts. The album went gold, and it also had other singles to follow after that, such as Go On Without You, as well as Be Free. And then she also released another album in 1988, which we will talk about here, titled A Woman's Point of View. And then after that, the album Let There Be Love was released in 1991. I think I'm going to talk about Let There Be Love in another video, but what I'm going to do for this commentary is I'm going to tie in her self-titled debut album as well as A Woman's Point of View album together. All right. And of course, we know that she went head on and she eventually left Electric Records. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I think after she left Electric Records, I think eventually signed with MCA Records, recorded a half album for MCA Records that was never released. And she was basically like, hey, I'm kind of done with the R&B thing. I want to pursue gospel. And so the gospel community probably, are aware of her with singing with T.D. Jakes on his Dexterity record label. And she has continued to pretty much release albums, gospel albums, throughout, her career since, when was it? Maybe 2002 is when she kind of started her gospel career as far as releasing gospel music. Now, Shirley, we need to talk, Shirley. We need to talk. Because the last several videos I've done, if you watch them, then you already know what I'm talking about is the making of an R&B diva. Now, some of these videos that I'm doing right now, I've actually did the commentary, if you will, on it a while back. If you've been following me on YouTube, then you know in the community section on my YouTube channel, I'm pretty much telling you guys, hey, I'm listening to this album right now. This artist is up next. And usually what I've done is that I've listened to the album, I've taken my notes, and then I've moved on to the next album without uploading a video. And that's pretty much what's been happening over the last 3 months. All right. So here's what I'm doing now. I'm finally getting to the point where I'm uploading the videos. And so Shirley Murdoch emerged through, my music collection now as far as the making of an R&B diva. And I'm glad that I brought up the talk box. I'm also glad that I brought up Shirley Murdoch's a woman of integrity, if you will, a woman who has standards. Shirley Murdoch, if you listen to her music, you can also tell, especially with the song As We Lay, she's a woman who, talks about, listen here, this was a slip up, this is a slip up, but, again, it's what it is. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, ask the Lord for forgiveness and keep moving on, so on and so forth. But there were some things about Shirley Murdoch's career as I was listening to her music. I got to put out that disclaimer for people. We don't, or at least I don't, dish out the dirt on who dropped, kicked who in these R&B streets unless it's relevant to the album. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we'll talk about the dirt, and I know everybody want to talk about that, but what I mean by dirt, those things that are controversial, that seems to get a lot of viewers and a lot of people going, that's not what I do, only if it makes sense for the album review. So again, I have to put out this disclaimer of what it is that I do over here. Here's what I do. I listen to my R&B divas albums. That's all I do. I listen to the albums. I think about what was going on in my life at the time that I first heard the album, right? And give you guys a little tidbit on that. And then I listen to the albums, and then I kind of get a feel of how what the diva is saying, what other divas are doing, what her, cohorts, if you want to call them, her contemporaries, what they're doing at the time. Is it something similar? Is it something different? Who does she sound like on this album? Who does she not sound like on this album? Do you understand what I'm saying? I go in that particular mode, and that's how I give you what I give you, okay? If you want to know what the secret is, that's the secret, But here's the thing. I'm doing it my way, right? I am painfully, authentically me, right? So here's the thing. You get me, you get my point of view about it, right? That's what I'm talking about. Right? You understand where I'm going? And so I don't have time to go through people trash. I have to put that out there. When I say people trash, like, I don't have time to be going around saying, ooh, this is juicy. Did you hear? Did you hear about that? If it's relevant, maybe. But I don't have time for all that. I really don't. And I'm not putting myself on a high horse. Is that when you have purposely went into your life and you have digged out all the stuff, and you're still digging out all the stuff. Like, do you really want to go and do that with somebody else's life? Woo, baby. And I mean, you got post hole diggers and shovels and rakes and stuff. I'm talking about you really trying to, you got garbage bags that you throwing stuff in, trying to get it out your life. You're telling people, whoa, hold up, back up. And you think I want to do that? Baby, no, baby, I won't do that. But anyway, it ain't about good. If you knew, if you just only knew, baby, if you only knew, child, I tell you, if you only knew. Whew. Oh, Lord, I got distracted. So, anywho, so that's what I do. That's how we do it. Chime in if you want to. So let's talk about these albums first of all. Let's talk about her first album. That first one, that very first one, entitled simply Shirley Murdoch. As I told you before, that's pretty much what was going on with me at the time listening to As We Lay, and it was a really big song. And when you think about it, if you're a child listening to that song, you really know what it's about. If you're a preteen, this woman has slept with. She's talking about she has, been with somebody who don't belong to her. If only for one night. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then the drama of going home, having to face her. Where you been? Who you been with? What y'all been doing? But she he ain't go down like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if you young, like myself, and you at the card table standing up over the card table while your parents are playing cards, that's all I got to say. Somebody somewhere was dishing out the dirt on who dropped kick too. If you understand what I'm saying, you get where I'm going. So even though I was a kid at the time, a child, listening to it, the children knew what it was. That's interesting that I brought that up. Why did I bring it up? Because, never mind, I don't want to go down there. That'll be me on my soapbox. We talking about Shirley Murdoch. So anyway, so that's what's going on with you, Shirley. That song, very popular. As a matter of fact, did she tour with Luther Vandross for that album? Was it Luther Vandross she was on tour with? I think it was. Shirley, how was it touring with Luther? I think you was on tour with Luther. Then you go out on tour with Luther? We didn't hear anything about you and Luther. Interesting. But what I was saying is, as far as making of an R&B diva, and I done got all off strip. Let me stick to all this stuff that I got down here that, I done went through. But speaking of the making of an R&B diva, Shirley Murdock has some things that looks like it's working for her, but it's probably going to work against her. So we have the As We Lay, a wonderful big song. Now, I got news for you. I like the song Go On Without You more than I like As We Lay. It's what it is. It's just my opinion. I like Go On Without You, and not so much As We Lay. But when I'm listening to this album, all right, where am I, child? Oh, Lord, honey. The first song I hear is called Be Free. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know it's way back when, and Miss Chalet hadn't showed up at all on the R&B scene. Well, I take that back. She was with the World Class Record Crew. So Miss Chalet was out at the time, because this is 1985. So Miss Chalet was somewhere around eventually on the music scene. And the reason why I bring up Miss Chalet, because the song Be Free sounds like a little bit like a song Miss Chalet would probably end up recording. It's definitely a song that you can get your groove on to. Be Free. But when I get to the song No More, it still feels like that she's having fun with this song. But those of you who remember movies such as Beat Street and Breaking, doesn't the song No More sound like it could be on that soundtrack? One of those soundtracks. Go back and listen to the song No More, and you tell me if that song does not fit the Beat Street or the Breaking soundtrack. But now, as far as that single Go On Without You, like I said, this is a song I remember singing and singing louder than with the radio. That singing louder than the radio. I really and truly do. And then you have the song like Danger Zone. And Danger Zone definitely reminds me of Prince. It just does. It just sounds like it's a Prince song to me. Danger Zone. Now, other songs on the album, the only thing I have to tell you is this is when I'm listening to Shirley Murdock. And I'm going to say this, but I say it respectfully, but I'm going to say this. I don't know if the Zapp and Rogers sound mesh well with Shirley Murdock. I don't think so. I don't know, because see, with me, as far as my ears are concerned, when I hear her music for this album, I just don't like the sound. I don't like what we would call maybe the Shirley Murdock sound for this album. Like Shannon, Let the Music Play. Like, is it more in that groove? Could she easily be, what was that? What would that be called? Dance music, house music? Shannon, what is that music called that Shannon sings? I think it's house music, right? Dance music. Shannon, y'all know who I'm talking about. The R&B, the singer Shannon, right? Is it dance? So she's a dance singer, freestyle. Okay, dance or freestyle diva. That's what Shirley Murdock is giving me on this album. Like, she's a dance or freestyle type of singer, or that's the music that she's giving me. That it's a music or a sound that I just never could get. Beat Street and dancing. I mean, Beat Street and breaking. There you go. See? Y'all just bear with me. I'm making the connection. Yeah, that's what this album, what category is this album in? What category? Baby, Shirley, talk to me. Have anybody asked her about her genre of music? But even though they put her in the category of soul, but I don't know. I don't know. Shirley, somebody need to talk to Shirley. I don't know. I see, like I said, I don't watch interviews like that of this of artists. So, I don't know, but somebody need to ask Shirley. Get Shirley on the phone and say, Shirley, Shirley, how would you categorize your music back then? I'm talking about the genre of music. Because for that first album, they put you in a soul category. I don't think it was soul, baby. I really don't, because you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can have ballads, can't you? And dance and still be considered a dance freestyle diva, right? I'm just saying. But I just couldn't get into the Shirley Murdoch sound, is what I'm saying. I like Zapp and Rogers' sound. But to me, I guess after hearing songs like As We Lay and Go On Without You, with such a big voice, such a big, powerful voice that she had, I just wanted to hear her sing, and sing in that kind of style of genre of music. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't care too much for her up-tempo music. Is that what I'm saying? But it works for her, but they put her in the wrong category. Is that what I'm saying about you, Shirley? I guess that's what I'm saying about Shirley. So the first thing that I would say that is working against her or would eventually work against her would be that sound. It's her sound. It will be her sound. The Zapp and Rogers sound. The next thing would be having such a huge single with As We Lay and a follow-up single with Go On Without You. What we have now with her A Woman's Point of View album, right? Pepe's Point of View, A Woman's Point of View, Shirley Murdoch's album. What we get with that is that when I heard the song for the first time, Husband, with me, you got to really, what's the word? I'm not going to say impress me. You don't have to impress me, but you have to surprise me. Yeah. I like surprises. And I wasn't surprised when I heard the song Husband. I was like, really, Shirley? Again? I heard this. Like, are we putting you in that category again? Like, I know it worked the first time, but why do this again? Right? Husband. And then I never thought about that. Then Shirley, you contradicted yourself. You said, I'm going to lay with this man. And now you're going to say, I'm not. But when it comes to life, you learn. I guess at this time you say, well, Shirley, we got to talk now, Shirley. Get Shirley on the phone. Shirley, I just want to know, Shirley. This is just what I want to know. I don't know about anybody else, but this is what I want to know. And don't nobody take my question and ask her like it was your question. It's my question. I want to know, Shirley. Shirley, the man that, y'all wrote about, sleeping with, that married man. And As We Lay on your first album, is he the same man you talking about you don't want to sleep with on that second album, A Woman's Point of View? Is that the same man? Or is it a different man? That's what I want to know. Now, see, I know what y'all talking about. Like y'all saying, like he's really serious. Like I don't know if there was a man. If it was somebody wrote the song. I don't know if it was true or not. I just want to ask Shirley. Shirley, wait, the same man? Or is it a different man? That's what I want to know. I don't know. What y'all think? Y'all think she was talking about? This what's how the lyric go? Desire says I should, but I say no. But then in the first song, she said we should have counted up the cost. Instead, we got lost. And desire says I should, but I say no. But see, that's the thing, though. Where I'm going with all of this is, I'm like, Shirley, I don't need to hear that from you again. That's why I'm going. I think that's the thing that didn't work for you, on this second album with me. I'm just saying with me. It's like, really? Oh, Shirley, don't do this to me again. So now, here we go. Oh, Lord. I never really know where I'm going with my commentary sometimes. even though I have things wrote down. So let me talk about this and then I'll go back. How about that? Let me stick let me stick to my notes. Stick to my notes. So then, as I said about the song Husband, no need to repeat. It's just what it is. It's kind of preachy in her music, righteousness, and all of that stuff. And then there's a song, the next song, Everybody Wants Something for Nothing. I'm not saying I don't like it, but I am saying she has a certain sound that I just can't get into. And that's what I was saying before. I just can't get into the sound, even on the second album. I just can't get into her sound. But one thing that I do want to say is that there's a song called I Still Love You on the second album. And when she has a very smooth approach to this, a smooth melody that works. With this song, I Still Love You, I think Gladys Knight would eat this song up. If you put this song in Gladys Knight's face right now, I Still Love You, I think Gladys Knight will just snatch it. She would snatch it. You understand what I'm saying? She would snatch it. Like, oh, that's my song now, Shirley. Yeah, I Still Love You. I don't know why I think of Gladys Knight when I think of that song. Or maybe you was thinking about Gladys Knight when you wrote that song, or when y'all was writing that song. But then you have the song Spending My Life With You. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that at number 8, I think the song Spending My Life With You is basically when the album starts and the album is about to finish. You understand what I'm saying? When you get to the song Spending My Life With You. However, the disappointment on her album, to me, the major disappointment on the album from Woman's Point of View, she did a rendition of Jennifer Holliday's And I Am Telling You. Now, here's the thing. She didn't do a bad job at all. No, really. We are not talking about Shirley Murdock vocals here. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're talking about Shirley Murdock vocals anywhere and you're talking bad about them, you need to be slapped to sleep. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about vocals. But I am talking about the production on that single. Yeah. I don't like the production. Shirley, baby, I didn't care too much for it, but it's all right. I don't know who produced the single or the song at all. I'm going to say that the entire album probably was again produced by, Zapp and Roger. It is what it is. There's nothing wrong with it. But now a review of this album, A Woman's Point of View, a review of this album says, Murdock gives her melodramatically powerful voice free rein, and it sobs and soars in a sonic stratosphere somewhere between Aretha Franklin and Jennifer Holliday. Okay. See, I guess I know what I'm talking about. If the reviewer, music critic, said pretty much the same thing I'm saying, I guess I'm on the money, baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 I don't know. 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 I mean, I'm really truly being honest with you when I say I don't know. Because it's almost like I said the same thing about Jackie McGee that I'm saying about Shirley Murdock. That Jackie McGee came off a huge song, Make It Last Forever. And there we are, you're waiting, like, what is she going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is her albums going to be? Is she going to work with Keith Sweat, on this album? Is it, and when they do and they finally drop it, they're going to give us another Jack McGee and Keith Sweat song. It's going to be good, right? Then you get it, you're like, huh? Okay. And that's the same thing with Shirley Murdock, I feel. Shirley Murdock, that huge song, Computer Love. We love so much, right? And then we get, as we land, we were like, whoa, we're blown away. And I'm not going to say her career faded or fizzled musically from putting out R&B albums. But somehow or another, you can get lost in the shuffle. And so that's why I like now when I think about certain artists. I'm just going to use this as an example. It's just what it is. R&B diva Janet Jackson. You know how you always have to reinvent yourself. And we hear a lot, I hear a lot of that when it comes to certain singers who really and truly stay at the top of their game, so to speak. They always are talking about reinventing themselves. And I'm wondering if that's what happens with Shirley. We put you in too many boxes and we didn't give you enough room to breathe or to be the R&B diva that we knew you could be. Yeah. I don't know. I have 45, I'm in the 45-minute mark, and I'm trying to think, do I want to go ahead on and just talk about and sum this all up without going into another review with Let There Be Love? Let me think. Do I want to do that? No, I could, but I don't want to. I want to do Let There Be Love differently because I have some different thoughts about Let There Be Love album. Totally different thoughts. Yeah. So that's it. As it comes to Shirley Murdock, I think to sum everything up when it comes to Shirley Murdock, again, I would just say you have an artist, to me, who has a great voice. She has a sound. And obviously the sound is working for the most part. I just feel like, where does Shirley Murdock fit at the time? How would you describe her music? Especially for that first album, and then to put her in the soul category. I just don't think she was soul. That's just my opinion. But then for her to go into the second album, toning it down some, but still staying in that same wave of As We Lay, because now she's toned her sound down. Like her first album sounds nothing like her second album. And maybe that's it. Maybe we wanted to hear that sound from her. Maybe it wasn't the husband song that I'm thinking about when I go, oh, really, we doing that again? Maybe it has nothing to do with that. That's just how I was thinking, or how I'm thinking. Maybe the difference between what they did with her first album, her second album, is that they took the sound away, and we wanted her to sound like Zapp and Rogers, because that's the camp she came out of, right? Yeah. But now Let There Be Love. It's totally different. Oh gosh, as you can already tell, I'm smiling. So I have some wonderful things to say about that Let There Be Love album. Okay. Well, if you made it, and I hope you made it to this part of the commentary, then I think it's totally appropriate to say, hey, you guys, I appreciate you for hanging out with me, talking with me about this, and leave comments, like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. Hang out with me. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of ground to cover. I appreciate you. Hey, you can say, hey, I was a day one. When this thing gets bigger, you can go back and when you're watching other YouTubers and they have people coming in and say, hey, I've been watching you since the first, your first videos. So to see where you are now, hey, congratulations. I look forward to hearing some of you guys out there say that. So hang out with me, if you will. Anywho, if you made it this far, then you know what I'm about to say. So let's go ahead on right into it and say, and on that note, I want you to remember to put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. I look forward to seeing your next video. Until then, take care of yourselves. All right. Talk to you later.